Hey everyone, here at the House Now 3D YouTube series. We are on episode 11. And of course, this is your host, Johnny Nelson. We have my wonderful co-host, Sean Nugent. Hey Sean, well, how's it going, man?
Hey everybody, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So today we're going to be talking about standards and guidelines for 3D concrete printing. Now, at a high level, we have two major organizations. And if anyone knows or follows the world of building and code, we have two major organizations that really kind of set the foundation, pardon the pun, for 3D concrete printing and that type of related structures. We have ASTM, which is the American Society for Testing and Measurement. As a mechanical engineer, I use many of their references and their codes and guidelines in my career. And then, of course, we have another one that I'm less familiar with, the ACI. That's the American Concrete Institute.
Yep.
So both of those really set the tone and really like kind of the baseline of what's allowed and what's not allowed, Sean. So why don't you talk to us about how those organizations interact with developers, builders, and people in organizations across the country?
Yeah, I mean, there's fantastic companies who have machines. They've got material out now for 3D printing of structures, and they're working with ASTM and ACI to try to get a new set of standards up. I mean, as I've explained, it's pretty much CMU block construction. You're putting a rebar in and you're printing around it in a mortar or some type of cementous material, but it's all going to come down to the tech is normally ahead of the codes, but just have open conversations with your local municipality. That's what I tell people all the time. Ask them, have they heard of 3D printing? Have they seen 3D printing? What don't they know? You know, it just takes a bit of knowledge to be shared, but there's fantastic people at ASTM writing the next chapter of standards, and they're training the next group of workers to adapt this technology and just understand that once you do it this way, and it's the right way across the board.
And to that point, Sean, I think we should bring forward the idea that for a developer or contractor that's wanting to introduce this technology, it depends how cutting edge or innovative the local building team is, the municipality. But then you might have to become an educator, and some people are not comfortable with that, or they don't really like that. But if you want to lead in this space, then you need to not only learn the technology yourself, teach your team, but then you also will end up also or more often than not, teaching the local, municipality what this is, what it's not, and showing them and giving them hands-on demonstrations and some other things, getting them comfortable with it. And then, of course, in conjunction with a local licensed structural engineer, which is really key. So it's a bit of a strategy and a sequence of events that you need to roll out and have awareness. Is that what you've seen?
I'd say start early. I mean, there's some great companies out there. You know, they've got questions. There's permanent buildings, all over the United States. And as we know, New York is very hard. Florida is very hard, in California. There's amazing people in California. We've Emergent 3D. They were talking to municipality, and they were very excited about it because they were decimated by
the municipality was excited about the
very,
opportunity to
very
work with this.
excited.
Okay, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
And they actually brought a couple of building inspectors out of retirement. It was like, hey, you've got like the expertise in the CMU block world, and they
Yeah.
haven't been doing a lot of that in the
Oh,
last
yeah.
decade. And this person was super excited. He was like, I want to see this. So having more and more people taking a look at it, poking holes in it, it just comes down to math, and somebody who's an engineer who's done this. And over time, they're going to have their standards absolutely by the book. But for right now, they're over engineering these buildings. And I think that's very smart, just to ensure that nothing can go wrong and the industry can grow every house, every structure that's built.
That's a good point, and I'll just kind of emphasize you touch on it there, and that is old school building, and it happens in commercial as well, but it's less common now. And that's the CMU, which basically your concrete block, and thousands of buildings, and many inspectors, at least they have been used to that kind of construction and the kind of requirements for that. And then, of course, now we're doing this novel way of printing, which kind of harkens back to it. But essentially, we're just trying to have kind of a one-for-one. So there's a lot of codes, a lot of regs around the CMU block world, and we just simply, as long as our printed structure at least matches that, which most often far exceeds that in strength and durability, but at the very least, at least it matches that, then it's a go-ahead from the local building jurisdiction.
Well, I've had
Or,
multiple conversations with people, and
yeah.
one municipality was like, hey, we don't know anything about 3D printing. We've never seen it. We're really confused on the whole situation. And I was like,
Yeah.
I said, no, you're not. And he goes, what do you mean? I said, did you go to college? He goes, yeah. I said, do you have a city hall? Do you have a library? They're like, yeah, why? I was like, do you have any two-story industrial buildings in your area from, I don't know, a number of years ago? He's like, of course we do. I said, how are they built? Here's like their CMU block. I said, just follow those standards. Once you can put that in your mind, that, you know, the rebar is going to be in the same way, you're going to follow the same exact code, you know, oh, how did the windows go in? How did the doors go in? How is the electric and the plumbing? All those large government buildings, most times, are been there for quite some time, and they're CMU blocks. So just follow that to the letter for now, and over engineer it. But once people can get that into their mind, they're like, oh yeah, I was in that building. That's a block building. This makes sense. All we're doing is going layer by layer by layer, you know, to improve strength, to improve speed, you know, reduce accidents on the work site, and hopefully produce a better product overall.
Oh, that's amazing, man. And talk briefly about finding a good structural, and I mentioned it a moment ago, but just to emphasize the point for the audience, talk to us about finding a good structural engineer that is, of course, aware of the technology, but then also wants to work with you and do something novel and innovative. Talk to us about how important that is and how that really can smooth the path for any project to get off the ground and wherever you're at.
I'm dating myself now. I'd say go to your local yellow pages. I'm just joking for builders out there. I've been doing this a while. You'd understand what that means.
Yeah.
No, talk to people. If you're building houses, you're going to have those connections. You know, there's multiple online resources in your state. You can look up people's portfolio, what they've built before, you know, everything that they've got passed, and just have a conversation, because it might be novel to them. But any engineer, if they're going to kind of have questions about this, they're going to say, okay, look, we're going to put extra rebar in here. I'm going to fill that full of solid concrete over there. Let's go above and beyond. And I think that's the smartest thing to do for now. And, you know, in time, you're going to use less material, and you're going to actually build better structures.
Awesome, man. Well, okay, everyone here at the House 3D YouTube series, basically that's a wrap on this series 11. And of course, we thank you for listening. Give us a thumbs up, give us a comment. We all appreciate that. And just to always keep the momentum rolling here. And we love delivering this kind of content to the audience. People are getting a lot out. They're responding well, getting a lot of feedback on how, you know, it's, of course, there's always more to talk about, but this gives everyone a really high level view of what this is all about, and just kind of the introduction of the many different aspects of 3D concrete printing. So until next time, thank you.